everyone. Welcome to the Golden Ratio Podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Yes, hello.
How's it going, GR Dad?
Fine.
Excellent, excellent. The cocktail of the week this week is called the Obituary, which I picked just because it's a cool name.
It's a very cool name.
It's gin, vermouth, absinthe, and an olive. So it's like a martini with some absinthe in it.
I like the Obituary. That's just...
Good
you could
name.
put anything in that thing. It'd be fine.
It's a drink that I would not like to drink. I don't like drinks with vermouth very much. I don't like absinthe. Don't like olives.
I used to think absinthe would make me crazy as a good thing, but it did not.
No.
I mean, no crazier than drinking that proof alcohol.
Yep.
Which can be crazy.
So, there we go. That's cocktail of the week. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, dear Dad. We have a very long list of topics.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I could open with
good luck with that.
open with a poem.
Ooh.
This is a poem written by Jessica, friend of the squad. It is titled, If You Give CB a Roasty. She sent this to us, and I think it's wonderful, and I wanted to read it. If you give CB a roasty, by his teeth you shouldn't linger. He will give it a big old crunch, and you could very well lose a finger. If you give Vink some green beans, she will tip and tap and spin. Dear Dad will video gleefully, and if you're lucky, she'll do it again. If you give Guac a ball, he'll grab it with his mouth. He is content to hold it there, or stare while it lays on the couch. If you give Hop some fish friends, she'll gaze lovingly through the ocean. They'll swim unbothered through her legs until Guac and Voods make a commotion. If you give Remy some broccoli, just put it under his snout, for his eyes have trouble seeing, and he'll locate it by sniffing about. If you give Voods some cheese of the righteous, it'll help when he's in one of his moods, for when he's stopped in the middle of a walk, or stubbornly eating not Voods foods. If you send GR Mom an email with a picture of a sweet sugar face and to please, GR Dad will take a road trip to bring another dog home to the Florida Keys. I think that's really nice.
It's true.
All right, dog updates. Voods is perky this week.
He's much more alert.
It's very unsettling.
It's funny. He can't win. When he's dopey, we make fun of him being dopey, and we worry about him being dopey. When he's alert, we worry that something else is going on.
He's been alert for like 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, he sits up in the back of the car. He looks
weird.
around. He notices when you come in and out.
He was just licking my knee.
Yeah.
Why are you interacting with me?
Yeah, he just more wagging.
He wagged his tail when we got home today.
Yeah, this is a good thing.
Man. So
I think it's a good thing. You think it's worrisome. But
he's
overall,
just never like this, but I think it's great. So that's the Vood update.
Good job, Bood.
Remy, man.
Remy.
So we took Remy up to the vet to compare our glucose meters and theirs. And they were they averaged out to be about the same. Blood sugar was super high at the vet. So we decided the thing to do was get him a continuous blood glucose monitor, which we got. And today, just a couple hours ago, we went up to the vet to have our first appointment so they could show us, like, here's how you put it on. Here's, all of this stuff. We're going to track him for a couple weeks. Great. So we come home. I got the app. You can, scan the glucose meter.
Oh, you're so happy about this app.
Getting data. And it's hold your phone up to the meter. And then it's bloop. And it's here's all of his blood sugar readings. It's amazing. And it just fell off.
Just fell off him completely. It's like a little disc. And now it was on the floor of the kitchen, and Remy was wandering around.
And they used like super glue medical adhesive at the vet in addition to the adhesive that's on there to keep it on. Didn't matter. Fell off.
Just nothing he did. He didn't brush on anything. He wasn't scratching it. It just fell off.
Nope.
You did fine, Remy. Not your fault. But it's unfortunate that it didn't work.
So we have 2 hours of data.
Which we could have done with 2 little pinpricks.
So now we got to go get another one. I think that spot was bad. His skin was kind of folded. Like he'd turned, it's behind his shoulder blade, and he was kind of turned facing one way, and you could see his skin was kind of just folded up.
Yeah.
And so I think that may have been what pushed it off.
Maybe we'll research a good spot for him.
Guac, knock that shit off. Guac is making big eyes trying to get your dad to throw his ball.
Guac, you better be nice if you're in the running for the trophy. This kind of behavior is counted against you.
Guac is not in the running for the trophy. Let us discuss his week. All right. So I tweeted this week, Guac has forfeited his trophy.
He's forfeited it.
He doesn't even not just win it
We're
this week.
erasing his name from the trophy.
He retroactively did not win it last week because he was on probation.
We're the NCAA. It's funny.
Now, dear Dad,
Okay.
he was on probation, and I believe the rule for probation was he cannot be outside with any other dogs.
That was the rule, yes.
And yet,
I don't understand. He was with almost no other dog. He was with Hops.
he was with Remy,
Oh, Remy.
another high-maintenance dog, and dear Dad, and Guac takes off. Well, you tell the story, but don't tell the part that we learned after. Just tell your experience.
Oh, the unprobation part. Yeah. I let him down, and then I was, making sure
Not
Remy...
paying attention to him.
I was not paying attention to him. And I turn around, basically, from not paying attention to him for a very short period of time, and I see Remy on the waterfront heading right, swimming away.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I don't see Guac. Remy is going that way. Remy is following Guac's smell. So I go to the end of the fence that's at the water line. I peek around, and Guac is standing on the dock of the neighbors looking happy as just a Guac.
The neighbor's there.
The neighbor's there, and he's like, hey, he's a great dog. And I call him, and he just looks at me. And so I'm like, all right, I'll come around. So I walk up to the street. I walk around.
Oh, my God.
And I come in, and Guac is there. And the neighbor talks to me about, some stuff. And then I grab Guac. And then, Remy is swimming to the neighbors. Can't get out because he doesn't have a, ladder or whatever. So I have to help Remy out. And while I'm talking to the neighbor, Remy is wandering off. So I'm like, okay, I got to go get Remy. So I walk to the neighbors further away from us who have, there's a rental property. No one's there right now, to see if Remy is there where he went. And he's not. So we went out on the street, and he's like halfway down the street towards the dead end.
Oh, my God.
And I called his name, and he actually came running, which was nice. But he's also wandering. I mean, the whole thing was a disaster, and it's all Guac's fault for being a Guacoman.
So we're at the neighbor's house on Monday night. So the neighbor on the other side, they were like, we have a ton of new people on the street. I mean, almost everybody has moved out, and new people have moved in the last year. Mm-hmm. And so they were very nice, and they're like, we're going to have a get together. Everybody come over. We'll have like snacks and drinks, and we can all meet each other. So it was very nice.
It's a great thing.
And the people who Guac was in the yard of, so if you're facing the ocean, those are the people to the right. They just came this week. Like, they bought the house, 3 weeks ago, and this is their first week here. Yeah. Super nice. They're from North Carolina. And so the neighbors on the left are the ones that are having the party. So we're over there. The neighbors on the right are there. And the guy, he'd had a couple drinks, and he's coming up. He's like, I got to tell you this story. He's like, so...
I got to tell you.
Your dog came over to my yard. And I was like, yeah. He's like, so, I'm out there on our dock next to our boat, and I've got a rotisserie chicken. And I was like, well, that's why he came over. He's like, yeah, no. He's like, so I've got a paper towel sitting on the edge of my boat, and I've got this chicken, and I'm pulling off the good pieces of the chicken, and I'm putting them on the paper towel for me to eat. And then I'm setting aside like the not so good pieces of chicken, because like I can feed those to the fish. Like they're as we still are completely entranced with all like the fish and the lobsters and everything. They're going to feed them stuff. So he's like, so I'm putting the good pieces of chicken on this paper towel for me to eat, and the bad chicken, or the not as appetizing piece of chicken on the side. He's like, and your dog looked, and he comes swimming over, and he jumps up on my dock. He's like, he ate all the chicken. I'm like, he ate your chicken. He's like, yeah, he ate the paper towel too.
He ate all the good chicken.
All the good chicken and the paper towel. He's like, honestly, he did me a favor. I didn't need to eat that chicken. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I'm not surprised.
And in hindsight, the neighbor did look a little sheepish when he was talking to me, probably because he knew Guac had eaten the paper towel and was like, I hope the dog's okay, but I'm not going to make a big deal out of it.
We're like, he eats paper towels and stuff all the time. It's fine.
Yeah. Is it metal? Is it a, what is it? What, Brillo? No, otherwise he's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Voods just galloped across the living room at Guac. They're having a little wrestle match. Also, Remy and Voods wrestle each other now.
Yeah, it's a new thing. I mean, Voods has to kind of keep up with Remy because Remy loses orientation.
Yeah. We're like Remy and Guac are tugging it right now. Remy's
Yeah.
really having a good time with everybody.
Remy's really integrated into the clan now.
So that's Guac. He also vomited up like a quarter pound of raw bacon, you said at one point.
Well, that was the neighbor who was throwing bacon in the water.
Neighbors are throwing all kinds of food in the water.
He's like, oh, it's for the fish will eat it. And it's like, no, the fish actually didn't eat the way the wind was. It was blowing over to us, and our dogs had a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're leaving tomorrow, though, so we don't have to have a chat about, like, look, your food's coming over here.
Yeah.
Also, and so that's why Guac not only doesn't get the trophy this week, but forfeits the trophy from last week. But a different Guac story is the Stingray.
Yeah, I had him supervised.
Yeah,
supervised,
good job.
Eyes on Guac. And he wandered into the water yesterday and was looking at me. I didn't have a ball, but I was just basically looking at him. And right behind him, inches from his back legs, a stingray stingrayed past.
Big giant stingray.
Yeah, all flat. And he didn't notice, and the stingray really didn't seem to notice Guac. I couldn't get my camera set up in time because it's pushing 4 buttons or something.
Yeah.
But the stingray just kind of stingrayed away, but I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's startling. Don't take a step back, Guac.
Yeah, people sometimes are like, oh, but are there sharks out there when the dogs are out there? Totally. I have seen sharks swim behind Hops.
Hops has had a shark encounter.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
No.
She doesn't pay any attention to the shark. The shark doesn't care about her. They just swim past.
Yeah.
None of our sharks are big enough that they could eat Hops.
Yeah,
They
or
could,
would try.
Or chomp, I guess, but they're not like that.
I guess there are some alligators around now, maybe in the Keys. Haven't alligators been spotted and photographed?
Crocs, I think.
They're crocs. They're like Cuban crocodiles.
Florida, freshwater crocodiles. Florida, well, anyway, Florida crocodiles. Yeah. They're kind of vaguely around.
They're also probably too small to make.
And they're like in the canals. They're not in the open water like this.
Yep.
All right. So, who gets the trophy this week?
I think Hopper.
I also
Hopper's
vote for Hopper.
Been a joy, and she's eating well. She's loves to be petted.
She's perfect.
She's
we
perfect.
don't need to talk about how perfect she is.
She's perfect.
Hopper gets a trophy.
She's
Good job,
perfect.
Hops.
She is perfect.
All right. Another thing that I had to discuss with you, GR Dad, and I was going to discuss this with you at the time.
Dag nabbit.
But instead I was like, I'm just going to write that down and talk to you on the podcast.
Oh,
so
no.
I was no, you're not in trouble this time.
That's what everybody says when you're in trouble. Go ahead.
Everybody, please hold your dad accountable. Guac is still on probation and should be the only dog out at a time when he's out. So y'all can just occasionally at Ingo Burkhart be like, remember, dear dad.
Whoops, there's a whole body of evidence showing other dogs swimming with Guac in the water, so I think I'm in trouble already.
Yeah, but this is not that. I was in bed recovering from the jellyfish sting, I believe, and you were not in bed, and you were talking at Vink. I think she was chewing on something, but you were yelling at her in Australian.
Was I going Australian on her?
You fully did, and you came back in the bedroom. I'm like, did you just yell at Vink in Australian? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to write that down to talk to you about it on the podcast.
Oh, I'm not in trouble. This is good. Yay.
No, just I would like you to explain.
I don't know. I was really tired, and she wakes me up when she insistently licks her paw or something because I worry about her poor skins. And so I was probably just petting her. You sing to the dogs, and I guess lapse into accents. I think I went French the other day too. So
you did another accent a couple days ago.
Yeah, I think it went French. Sometimes you just like to. We've been cooped up a lot.
I'm deeply supportive of this. It was just funny that all of a sudden there's an Australian man in my house. I mean, I think that's great. Love them. Love you. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Deeper story to that.
It didn't impress Venk at all. You won't be surprised to hear.
No.
She will not give us training bonus to speak with an Australian accent.
So let's see. That's all the dog updates for the week. We have other random stuff. Do we want to talk about the marathon here? Should I talk about it here? Should we do a Runs with Dogs podcast and not talk about it here?
Just mention it at least. We don't have to do a mile by mile, but a thank you, I think, to the fans and stuff would be nice.
Yeah, I ran the New York City Marathon this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran the Boston Marathon like a month ago. And, we talked a lot about that on the podcast, and it was a very emotional thing for me. And after about a week, I was like, I must have another dose of this. And
it's kind of like puppies.
It kind of is. And so I'm like, big city marathon, and I think I mentioned this. There's a thing called the World Marathon Majors, which is 6 marathons: Chicago, New York, Boston, London, Berlin, and Tokyo. And since like 2019, I have been trying to do this. I've run Chicago a bunch, but I kind of decided in 2019 I'm going to do them, and I signed up for pretty much for 5 of them, everything except Tokyo, which was not sign upable at that point, and then it all got fucked up by COVID. But so Boston, great. It's my second. So it's called 6 stars, right? You get a star for each one of those.
Giant
races.
medal.
When you finish all 6, you get a giant medal.
I mean, dinner platter size.
It's huge. It's amazing. And so Boston was my second star, and I was like, I need another big city marathon like this. And I'm like, New York is coming up in like 3 weeks, and it would be a 3rd star. Except you can't just sign up for a big city marathon fucking 3 weeks before the race. It's the dumbest thing.
It's usually there's a lottery a year ahead of time, and you might get in that way or not.
Yeah, I mean, yes. So there is a lottery for New York. I have entered it many times, and I have never been selected to run it. And the lottery is like 9 months before the race. Like the Chicago Marathon is the first weekend of October, and their lottery has closed already for next year.
Yeah.
It's like a year ahead of time.
They've selected their 40,000 runners.
Or whatever. You sign up, and then they're going to do the selection in a month, and then whatever. So, like, the New York Marathon registration has been closed for at least 9 months.
It was done.
It was 100% done. And then there's charities that you can run with, but those fill up, too. All the charities fill up their spots. And, like, they got to send information to the race. Like, there's no way I can run the New York Marathon in 3 weeks. I'm 12 months too late to even be thinking about this. Even at the outside, it would be like 6 months ago I'd have been pushing it. But whatever, I was like, I'm going to try it anyway. So I emailed every charity, and I was like, if you've had anybody drop out, if you've got any spots left, Remy, get down. And we're just climbing on the pod equipment. Get down. If you have any spots left, like, I promise I will raise your minimum. Like, I will pay it to you today. Like, I want to run this race. Like, I've got the money. Like, I can cover it.
Yeah.
And Voods, no, hang on. We're potting from the couch. And God damn it, Vince, don't fall off. Hang on.
Here. You can put it next to me now.
Just move the butt. Okay. So we got the box of podcast equipment on the ottoman. Remy started climbing on the ottoman, and then as soon as your dad just got him down, right now, Voods is like, I'm coming on the ottoman, you guys.
Nobody cares about physics. You can't fit on there with the box, guys. I don't care.
So anyway, I emailed every charity, and every charity emailed me back, and they were like, oh, we'd love to have you on our team next year, but the New York Marathon, like, yesterday or today was like the last day that we could, I think yesterday was the last day that we could submit like registration for people who are on our teams. So there's just, even if we had a spot, there's no way that we can get you in.
It's like officially even more closed.
Yeah, like the New York Marathon has said, charities, you may no longer submit anything. And one charity emailed me back, and they're like, interesting. I emailed the New York Marathon and asked them to please extend the entire registration for all the charities by a day. So we'd have to get you registered by, they emailed me like 10 p.m. We'd have to get you registered tomorrow. Could we have a call at 9 a.m. basically so we can see if you're serious about this? And anytime somebody's like, Jen, could we have a call to see if you're serious about this? I win.
She's always serious about these things.
So I was like, oh, yes, I can do this. And yes, I raised this much money. And they were like, holy fuck, okay, let's get you registered. And so they did. And it was a great, super kind of under the radar charity, I would say. So it's a group called Allied Services, which is like a nonprofit, basically hospital-ish thing in like South Pennsylvania, like in the Lehigh Valley. But they run like rehab programs for people with disabilities. If you've been in a car accident, you need extensive rehab. They run those programs. So that's cool. That's great. Awesome thing. But they also work with a nationwide program. They're, I think, one of the only ones in Pennsylvania. So they operate a hospice, And the program is if you have a pet and you go into hospice, I mean, there's a lot of people who like need to go into hospice, right? They're kind of like, they can't take care of themselves. They're kind of at the end of their lives. They would be much more comfortable in hospice getting that kind of care, but they have pets and they don't know what's going to happen to their pets, or there's nobody to take care of them. And so they won't go. And then they just end up kind of stuck in their houses, like not able to take care of themselves or take care of their dogs, really.
That's true. We've seen the dog end of this a couple times.
We have. And so like it's just a sad situation all around. And so there's a program that this hospital works with, and they're kind of the main center in their area, that works to keep your pets with you. So they set it up so like they will take care of your pets. Your pets can be with you. Now, maybe that means they live with you in the hospice. Maybe that means they come and visit you every day and there's someone taking care of them. But they also pair them up with homes to go to. So after the patients die, because they're going into hospice, you know that your dog is going to go to a place with somebody who loves them and that they've been integrated with. So it's like a really lovely thing where it's like, I mean, it sucks, right, that you have to go into hospice, but that you get to have your pets there first, which is super important to a ton of people. I would be that person. I mean, I don't know that they would take 6 dogs, but if I'm like 90-year-old Jen and I've got a dog and I have to go into hospice and I couldn't have my dog, like I wouldn't go.
You'd stay at home.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And to my own detriment. And so the fact that like it would be like, okay, like your dog can be there. And then also, your dog's going to be taken care of afterwards. Like it's really amazing. And I think that, so on my running page, I had kind of posted about this, and I had to raise $3,500, which I would have just paid myself. But I was like, well, we'll do some Hopper keychains and we'll give that to anybody who donates. And I was like, maybe I'll make, raise half of that amount for them. But I told this story about the pet hospice thing as part of why I was raising money for them, because I think it's an awesome program. And I think we raised $12,000. So we're going to raise $3,500.
I mean, it's kind of like one of those dog rates GoFundMe's where it's like fully funded in 10 minutes. I was really fast.
I think I did hit it in about an hour, and it was really amazing, right? I mean, like I wanted to run this race, but these people are wonderful. They really care about this mission. I think this pet hospice thing is like phenomenal. And I think it resonated with a lot of people in a way that I wasn't expecting, right? There were a lot of people who were like, yeah, when my mom went into hospice, this was a huge problem. Or, yeah, my uncle would not go to hospice because he couldn't take his dog with him. And it was like so hard on everybody. So I think a lot of people had kind of personal experiences seeing this, which like I have not had. Like I've had family members go into hospice, but not ones that had dogs. So it was great. And we had about 400 people donate, because I mailed out Hopper keychains to everybody, which are super cute. Ellie did the art for them. And and then the race was Sunday.
Yeah.
And someday my butt won't hurt, but today is not that day, and Sunday was definitely not that day.
And thanks to everyone who came out to support her in person on Twitter.
You guys were amazing. It was so the one thing I did want to say is that they always tell you to put your name on your shirt for these races, because people like to cheer for you and they like to yell your name, and so they don't know your name. So if you put Jen on your shirt, people will be like, Jen, good job.
And they're happy to do it. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's more fun to be able to be like, I'm cheering for you. And so I was like, what should I put on my shirt? I could put Jen, I could put GR Mom, or I could put Sexy Beast.
Gee, I wonder which one won.
I actually put up a Twitter poll, and it was like 70% of people voted for Jen, GR Mom. And I'm like, it's Sexy Beast.
No.
Perhaps the best decision I've ever made in my life.
At mile 15, you had a little post where you're like, this was the best decision in my entire life.
Because there are a zillion people who come out to cheer in the New York City Marathon, and they're yelling everybody's name. And so I had 6 hours of people calling me a Sexy Beast, which is pretty great. Number 2, enthusiastically calling me a Sexy Beast. And then some of them would say it just like it was my name, like, good job, Sexy Beast. And a lot of them would be like, good job, Sexy Beast. Hey, Sexy Beast. And they do a little dance. Some of them would go, Sexy Beast, which I really liked. But the best part is that like people would be clapping. They'd be like, Mary, good job. Josh, good job. Asley, good job, sexy beast, sexy beast. And like everybody else would turn, and it was like surprising for people and very joyful. And then they're like, I get to yell sexy beast. So it was
licensed to. She gave me permission to yell sexy beast.
The first people who yelled it. So you start on Staten Island, and then you immediately go over a bridge into Brooklyn, the Verrazano Bridge. I don't know how to say the name.
Is it the Verrazano Narrows?
Yes, the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. So there's no spectators on the bridge. They're not allowed on the bridge. But there were like 3 city workers on the bridge. I think they're
nice.
Just maintaining it. So there are these 3 dudes, like
there's New Yorkers.
Upper span and a lower span. So I was on the lower span, and they're kind of like standing in the median. There's no cars. It's because it's closed for the race. And so it's just these 3 dudes kind of watching us run past, and one of them saw my shirt, and he's like, "You go, sexy beast!" and then of course all 3 of them are laughing. The amount of joy that me having sexy beast on my shirt brought to people, because they thought it was funny and surprising, and they got to yell it, and they did sexy beast dances. Oh, and a lot of them wanted to make sure I really knew that they weren't just saying it because it was on my shirt, that I very much was a sexy beast. And then they would explain, I see you, sexy beast. Yeah, you are. I think you're a sexy beast. Like, just wanted to really convince me.
Brilliant, because it's not offensive or a bad word in and of itself, right?
Yep.
Neither of those words are actually offensive. There's not a curse word in there.
Yep.
But it is a little bit, it's on the border.
Yeah.
And people are happy to be able to have fun.
Oh my God. It was super fun for me, obviously, which I expected. I did not expect how much joy it would bring other people to see it on there and to yell it, and that tons of people would be laughing and doing dances and stuff. So I'm never running another race like that without sexy beast on my shirt. Like, it's my trademark now. I should register like the Twitter handle.
It's really good.
At sexy beast. At sexy beast runner.
Track at sexy beast.
Anyway, it was great. It was probably my slowest marathon ever, because my hamstring really acted up. Like, the energy in Brooklyn was quite overwhelming in a way that I have never experienced in a race, of just like people crowding in, like a 2-lane road, right? So not like the big wide Manhattan city streets, but like just a regular road. And people, I started at 10:40, right? So they've been drinking for like 3 hours by the time I get to them.
Let's be honest.
A beer in one hand.
It's not a cappuccino. 5
people deep on each side of the sidewalk, just screaming, so happy for this race to be going through and having this party. I've never been overwhelmed by cheering in a race like that before, and like half of Brooklyn was that overwhelming. And so there are a couple points where I sped way up because I was just kind of like fueled by that energy, and then my butt started hurting, and I was like, oh, I need to slow way down. And also, this was maybe a bad idea. Plus the jellyfish, plus running Boston, and I just had an injection in it like after the Boston Marathon, so whatever, it's fine. I didn't do any damage, but I had to go very slow in the race. And I was tired from the jellyfish incident. So performance-wise, not a great race. Energy-wise and like emotionally, exactly what I wanted. It was awesome. So
great race. And thanks to everyone who came out with signs and Snickers bars and all these things.
I tweeted. There was somebody in Queens. It was about mile 15, and I was feeling really crappy. I was just like tired. I knew I was going to finish fine, but I was tired, and like my butt was really achy. And she was at the, like, right before we went on the bridge to get out of Queens, and she had a sign, and she like yelled my name, and she gave me a really great hug and a Snickers bar. And I tweeted, I like on the bridge, I was like, I'm going to walk over this bridge because I'm tired. And I tweeted, thank you to the person who cheered for me and gave me a really good hug and a Snickers bar. And she's like, I'm Snickers lady. And everybody else who was tracking me, they're like, you will now forever be known as Snickers lady.
Could be worse. That's a very good thing.
There were dozens of people out there who made me signs and cheered for me, and it was great. So thank you to everybody who came and cheered for me, which was awesome, and everybody who supported the charity. I hope you like your keychains, and it was really fun, and Allied Services was so happy because like, who's this random person? I mean, when I talked to him on the phone, I'm like, I know it's stupid and completely out of line for me to be asking to join your charity team 3 weeks before the race.
Yeah.
Like, I know that this is dumb.
It's not something you would normally do. Like, you personally don't like to do extra.
No, like
special
please stretch
deals.
the rules for me.
Yeah.
I don't like doing that. But I figure for the charities, it's like, I promise I'll raise a lot of money for you. And like I know you have to do a thing, but I promise to make it worth your while. And it really was. They're extremely excited about it. And so we did a good thing for them, and helping people in stay with their dogs at like the end of their lives, which is great. And it was great for me to be able to run this race. So thanks to everybody. Awesome.
You're awesome. Everyone who contributed is awesome.
Thank you to everybody. So that's that. I'll do a little whatever the podcast edition of vague booking is, and just say
vague booking.
Vague booking. Vague booking is when you post something vague on Facebook without any details. Like, some people really need to learn to keep their mouth shut about what goes on behind closed doors.
Is this where you
just post that?
Is this where you post a picture of your engagement ring, or
no?
No, that's not vague enough.
No, vague booking is like
mind.
some people just need to learn to keep their mouths shut, and you're like, you're clearly talking about a specific thing and a specific person, but you're not telling me what that is.
Right. Okay, got it.
All right. So I will just say that there's a project that I have been working on, and the project came to fruition this week in an unexpectedly, dramatically successful way. You guys will get to know about the project in probably a year was when I'll be able to talk about it. So I can't really talk about it yet. Maybe we'll be able to talk about parts of it sooner. This is not a...
It's not a new dog, and it's not a baby.
Oh my God, that would be terrible. No.
I just want to squash any rumors.
No, it's a work project. Not a dog project. No babies, never. Anyway, so that was good. But on the heels of that, we got another piece of good news this week, which is we have been selected to be in the next batch of Twitter super followers, which is basically the Twitter version of the GR Dad Wholesome OnlyFans. It's happening!
I'm
so excited!
Oh, this is very scary.
So if you follow Pavlov and Maslow, they have had super follower stuff for a while. So we got picked this week. Twitter has selected a second round of people to do super followers. We're going to be one of them. So it means you can super follow the account if you want. So everything is going to stay normal as you have seen it so far. Like, we're not changing any of the regular content. There's still going to be the daily pictures, the daily snaps. It's all going to be the same. But super following, it's, I think, $4.99 a month. So it's kind of like a Patreon, basically, and it gets you access to whatever super follower only content, which is going to be all the stuff we've talked about for GR Dad's
wholesome
OnlyFans.
My world is collapsing.
He already was talking about how he's going to dress up for his laundry folding and his car repair.
Some of these secrets that just should not be shared. I told you that.
Well, we're definitely going to have Dad Joke of the Week.
Yeah.
Featuring dogs and dad joke told by GR Dad.
Yep. And they're gonna be good. I've got notes made of the GR Dad jokes. I'm not using yours. Yours are all like ones you like. I'm gonna use ones I like.
You can do whatever you want.
Mine are good.
We're gonna have some special behind the scenes stuff, like maybe dog washing. We'll do some live streams. I'm trying to figure out the right way to do it because you can't easily do it on Twitter. But I think we can post to the super followers, we'll do a live stream at 6 tomorrow, and then share a unlisted YouTube link that the super followers can go to see some special live streams that we wouldn't do for everybody else.
And then frankly might be boring for everyone else. So it's,
you really will have to be a big GR fan to appreciate the super follower content.
The content might not be good, but it will be more.
No, it's going to be great.
It'll be more.
It definitely will be more. Dog treat recipe of the week. That's on the list. So I have all kinds of dog treat recipes. So we'll do a recipe of the week. I'll make it. We'll send pictures.
Take carrot out of fridge. Give to Vink.
I will do the dog treat recipe
number one.
You know what? I say that I make fun of your give carrot to Vink recipe, except honestly, with the way all of our content goes, everybody will be like, my favorite recipe from the last year was GR Dad's take the carrot out of the fridge and give it to Vink recipe. That's how everything worked. I go no, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to make this great content.
GR Dad gave him an ice cube, and it was the best.
You know what? As long as the followers are happy, it's fine.
It's
I don't
great.
need to be loved more than you.
Everyone's just so surprised when I do anything correctly that it really works in my favor.
So we're probably going to have probably almost every day there will be some kind of bonus content, and a number of them will be series, like the dad joke corner and the dog treat recipe of the week, and a weekly live stream, that kind of stuff. So we're still like plotting out all of the details. When will you be able to sign up to be a super follower if you're super into that? 1 to 3 weeks is what Twitter said. So I filled out all the forms and I was like, where's the super follower button? And they were like, we don't know. Let's find out. And they're like, we have to manually add everybody.
Yet. Manually add every single person with a...
No. So the new super follow, the new accounts like us, who are allowed to have super followers, we need to be manually added to something.
All right.
Because it's still like in early trial phases, so it's not just like you sign up and then it's done.
Okay.
So they're kind of in the process of doing the manual adding, I guess. So they said within 1 to 3 weeks the button will show up, so you can snoop every day. You do have to do it. It has to be through the app on your phone or your tablet, but not through like the desktop, like going to twitter.com.
I'm going to sign up.
Ingo, you can have the password for the Twitter account.
Then you have more followers. Super followers. One more, then you have one more.
Oh my God. You know what? If it makes you happy, go ahead.
Remember when Hops didn't have enough t-shirts?
When we first started selling merch, we had an artist who's done many dogs since then, like cartoon pictures of the dogs, and you could buy, whichever dog you wanted. And when we released him, we were keeping track of like which dogs got the most t-shirts bought, and Hopper was in last place. So Jared bought a Hopper t-shirt. You still have that t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't throw anything away ever.
We do have some new merch coming. I have Golden Ratio swim team shirts, like gym shirt style, like property of. Those designs are just sitting on my computer waiting to be uploaded. So there will be some new merch for holiday times if you want. Or if you have a friend or family member who's a big obsessive fan of the ratio, you can get him a super follow probably.
Sure. Yeah.
So anyway, it'll be for whatever, $4.99 a month, and it'll just be a bunch of extra behind the scenes content, including lots of GeoDad stuff. And we'll post previews of what that looks like on the main account for everybody.
Lots of GeoDad content. I don't know. There'll be some.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it.
That's good.
It's going to be good.
I'm nervous about it.
Well, I mean, worst case, you can do none of it, and I'll do all of it, and it'll be fine.
What are you going to do? Wheel me around?
I can tell dog jokes, dad jokes.
Use my face? Just stick my face and stuff?
You could be totally out of it. What kind of dog does Dracula have?
A bloodhound. Oh, nice.
A bloodhound.
I like it.
That's
I
a
like
good one.
it. Yeah.
Why do dogs make terrible dance partners?
Because they have 2 left feet.
It's no fun when you know the answers.
Dude, I'm a dad.
Wait, I think
I know
you're
these
reading them
things.
off my screen.
No, I'm not. I just know dad jokes.
What happened when the dog went to a flea circus? He stole the show.
Nice.
Yeah. I could tell those jokes.
These are
better when you do it.
Mine are better.
Well, anyway, your dad will be telling the dad jokes. Let's be honest. You're going to love it. You're going to be like, today I'm making my dad joke video for the super followers.
I'm a total natural at the dad joke stuff. I mean, I do it with you all the time.
You do.
I go,
What? That just happened today.
Yep.
What was it
you
that
were
you
not
said?
amused at all. I don't know what I said. If I could remember them, I'd,
write them down,
Jeez.
maybe. Use that content.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's super exciting. We just got that notification this week. You want to do your German word of the week?
Yeah, this is a complicated one, but it's apropos of nothing. It's called...
Perfect. That's what German words of the week are for.
Yeah. Hang on. I want to get it right. Leichenvitamine.
That's like 3 words.
Yeah, and it's a very sort of historical word, too. So, Leiche is a dead body.
Oh, like a corpse.
A corpse. Bitter can mean bitter, but it can also mean someone who pleads or begs. Like bitte.
Yeah.
And mine is your expression, your face.
Corpse begging expression.
Yeah. So
corpse begging face.
So it used to, traditionally it means it's a very serious expression, it's like someone died.
Oh, I see.
Like
okay.
you have a facial expression. Now it has been used to describe someone who's like exaggerating being sad, like making drama about it, like faking.
Oh,
mostly exaggerating. If someone has a Leichenbitter, I mean, it looks like they're pretending to be even
like
more
melodramatic.
Melodramatic, yeah. But it started in the Middle Ages. There were people called Leichenbitter who would walk around the town and announce the death of someone.
Bring out your dead.
That's right, and then invited people to come to the
Funeral home?
Wake? Reception. Wake. That's right. Invited people to the wake. Like, pleaded with them to come to the wake. Asked them to come to the wake.
Interesting.
So it's Leichenbitter. And then Leichenbitter mean the guy had or woman had a very serious expression when they were talking about someone being dead in the town.
Oh, all right.
I mean, how else are you going to know if someone's dead? They're not going to tell you.
Yeah.
So Leichenbittermine is now turned into overly melodramatic expression of sadness, but has at its core just a very serious facial expression. Very sad.
I like it. It's a good one.
No.
Leichenbittermine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Taste of the Keys are pretty mellow this week. There is a story of a animal cruelty case that the guy got a bunch of years in prison, and that's really all I want to say about it because it's so terrible.
Yeah,
so
we're
just going to skip over that. But hey, good job putting that asshole in prison, and we don't need any more details.
The only encouraging thing is for me is that they keep putting people, calling people to court for having small fish and illegal lobsters.
I was going to say there's like 8 too small fish or too many snappers this week, and so
what did you say? There's only
there's like 9 fish that are restricted,
and that's what people get busted for. But there's a million kinds of fish that you can fish.
There's so many fish that you can catch, like many of any size. You can get as many of any size, but not your stupid like snappers or your lobsters. Like just learn the list.
Yeah, learn 9 fish, and then everything else is fine. But people, don't even have a license part the time, or they don't even have a
license, guys.
They don't even have a ruler to measure, and so the fish and wildlife guys are just like, this is ridiculous.
This guy, 59-year-old from Bolingbrook, Illinois. I know where I've been to Bolingbrook.
Go there and tell him he's a jerk.
There's a zoo there.
Yeah. Small snappers, I think, was him, right?
Yeah, he had 10 mangrove snappers, the biggest of which was 9.5 inches, and the minimum is 10. And the bag limit is 5. There's like little waterproof cards you can get that are like, here are the fish that are protected. There's like 9 fucking fish. And you can have this many, and they have to be this big. Here's how you measure them. Stop being idiots, you guys.
It's a low bar. I think that's why the fish and wildlife guys feel justified being aggressive, because they're like, we're not asking that much, guys. Yeah. Catch all the friggin', I don't know, swordfish you want.
Stupid. They got look at this little card. You can hold your fish up and compare it to the picture. They're like, look, this fish looks just like the picture. That's how you can tell what kind of fish you have.
Oh, it really is. You would say, I bet they think it's idiot proof.
Oh, my God. All right. Anyway, there you go. Nothing too dramatic this week. Everybody's taking it easy after Fantasy Fest.
Well, no, it's powerboat race, man.
That's this weekend, though, right?
Yeah, but it's this week. They're already in town doing powerboating things.
Well, we'll tell you all about it
Pre-power boating things. They're powering up their boats.
All right. Well, that's it for this week. Until next week, get your kids vaccinated if you haven't.
Have we done a butt update? Your butt still hurts.
I sang the song.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And don't bite anyone unless they ask you to.
That's right. No biting. Bye.